Jupiter is going to, where is my Jupiter? Retrograde. Jupiter starts to retrograde in Gemini at 21 degrees. 21 degrees is a Sagittarius degree. Jupiter is ruler of Sagittarius. So it's all about expanding your horizons and your philosophy and your theories and your religion and higher education, or maybe even doing that through traveling or religion, okay? This expansion of some sort, but it's definitely about expanding. And it's also dealing with law too, Jupiter, because Jupiter, which makes me think of P. Diddy, he has two planets dealing with law, touching each other, Jupiter and Venus, just so you know. But Jupiter is about having the community live together. And while you have the community live together, there needs to be law so everyone can live under the same roof and be happy and be optimistic. Anyway, but Jupiter retrograding, that means that there are some lessons or some redoing or repeating that has to happen, like rethinking any type of communication you're dealing with Gemini, or anything that you learn, beginning learning, reevaluating your beliefs and your perspectives, revisiting some old connections or networks, expanding your internal knowledge, reflecting on dualities and choices. Gemini is back and forth. So you can have that. And again, it makes me revert back to P. Diddy, because P. Diddy's chart with that Mars in Capricorn, which I wanted him to be a Mars in Aquarius because it makes more sense to me. But the Mars in Capricorn for P. Diddy was in that third house. And the third house does represent that Gemini energy, which gives him duality and choices in his sexuality. Just so you know that. Anyway, but choices and options, sexually or not sexually. I'm just letting you know, you may be repeating some options that you had on the table that you didn't look at. Okay. So yeah, balancing the different perspectives, because Jupiter, the ruler, Mercury, the god of the underworld and above the world, he was the communicator between the two. And so he saw all the sides, both sides. So that could be happening. Okay. Remember though, Jupiter, whatever sign it's in, is going to expand it and make it bigger. That's why you have a lot of broadcasters, YouTube, podcasts. More people are podcasting and they're on social media because Jupiter is in Gemini. It is huge. The book talks are probably bigger. Books are probably bigger. Communications across the board. It just makes me think of Tucker Carlson, how he left and he got fired and he got bigger. Candace Owens, I don't know if she's bigger or not, but she got fired, but that was like a big thing, and move on. Did Russell Brand, because he's major Gemini energy. If you guys don't know, Russell Brand has like a podcast. He had some law allegations, but I don't think it happened during Jupiter and Gemini. But I'm sure something big's happening with him personally or not, because he has major Gemini energy. Anyway, the point is that the talking gets more talking. Talking gets more talking. Now it's retrograding. So it's repeating all of the announcements, repeating all of the discussions, repeating all that was learned and shared. Gossip too. Okay. So maybe bigger gossip. Get ready for that. But we could be reevaluating. There could be some delays with education and communication, revisiting some intellectual projects, shifts in our social circles, because any Gemini or air sign is very social and it wants to communicate. Questioning our beliefs, because Jupiter is the planet of our beliefs and broadening our horizons. But is it too broad? Should it be narrow? Do I really believe in that? Do I really have that theory and that philosophy? That is what it questions. Now, it's also probably going to revisit a place that you traveled, or redo something that's dealing with the world and not just your small community. Yeah, so that you have. Now, I looked up some dates here that Jupiter will be acting a fool. Okay. On the 20th, it's going to sextile, and this is the 7th. On the 20th, it's going to sextile Chiron. It's going to oppose Venus. Okay. And when it does that, there's some healing perspectives happening. And then also you have your logic versus love happening there. And you need to balance that. That's around the 20th. Okay. So like any type of intellectual exploration with love or harmony and law, yeah, there's going to be some balance there, and seeing because when it's opposing, it needs a middle ground, and there's no middle ground there. Now, on the 11th, Jupiter will be retrograding still, and it's going to quincunx the sun in Scorpio. And when the sun moves in Scorpio, we're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable and need a little adjustment with our self-expression, especially our self-expression with power and secrets, are things that are very taboo. Okay. But there could be intensity here, and this intensity can make us uncomfortable, especially intensity when it comes to any type of conversations. Okay. Now, on the 16th, Jupiter is going to oppose Mercury. Mercury will be moving out of Scorpio and then into Sagittarius on the 16th of November. And then it will be really in opposition on should we expand this conversation or not. Mental tension and what is the truth? What is the philosophy? What is the insight? Are you overconfident? And it's like tug of war between the thoughts of clarity and being too optimistic in the conversations. Okay. Now, on December 7th, Jupiter is going to oppose a Cazimi, because then when Mercury enters into Sagittarius, it will start to retrograde, and then there will be a Cazimi. So you have that clarity that's happening, and communication that's got to be redone or reset. Okay. You're talking about two planets that's retrograding and are opposing each other, and you have the sun involved. So some big announcement will be big that day, or that's around December 7th. And you're talking about Sagittarius. Yeah, huge. Could be dealing with law. All my Sagittarius placements, get ready. All my Gemini placements, get ready. Virgos, this could be affecting you because it's squaring your sign, and Pisces, it could be affecting you because it's squaring you. Okay. Yeah, so that is when Mercury retrogrades, and that's going to be around December 7th, and Mars will be retrograding around that time. So a lot of planets retrograding: Jupiter, Mars, Mercury. Christmas season is going to be very interesting, you guys. Get ready. But yeah, with that, there could be some clarity amongst some kind of confusion or clarity, and it's going to be very illuminating, or like because the sun brings light to something, or maybe Jupiter light to a world, traveling, expanded thoughts. Okay. And maybe it's a time of letting go of ideas that no longer serve you, especially with that Jupiter redoing it and discussing it. We'll see how that goes. Okay. On December 21st, Jupiter will then square Saturn. Now, I find that this is one of the big ones. Okay. And this happens around the 21st. It could happen a little bit before. Just know around Christmas time, Jupiter in the sign Gemini. So that's communication, talking, early, multiple choices, multiple options, is retrograding. It's not working. We're not getting the luck that we normally have in conversations. And not only are we dealing with that, but then it's going to square Saturn in Pisces. And when it squares Saturn in Pisces, first of all, I just want you to know a lot of planets will be going in that sign, in this house. Doesn't have to be the third house, but in the sign Pisces. So it will be a lot of planets. Jupiter will be, because all these planets will be moving over here around December. Okay. And when they're all in Pisces, you have this square with all of them. So reality check and on expansion, the square in Saturn is about being pessimistic, and you thought you were optimistic, but pessimism is involved here, especially with things you cannot see or things that you're very emotional. This is a moodable square, meaning that there is going to be some change, and you don't like the change that's going to happen. Okay. But there's practicality, there's a reality check, there's discipline. These are things about your visions, and maybe there's some restrictions with that. Whatever it is reevaluating. Maybe you're reevaluating your spirituality, maybe reevaluating the government and what they cannot. The government will probably be up to no good. Okay. Any type of authoritative energy that revolves restrictions and limits of father figures, old man, all that, and the conversations and the words. And this also could, again, be dealing with law, is going to be a big challenge, and it's a challenge of change. Okay. I do want you to understand that this is also talking about long-term energy. I find that this is really big. You're talking about two big planets that are going to square. When that happens, this is going to affect the collective. There is going to be something in the news, especially with this Gemini. I'll get a little bit more detailed as we get closer to that, but I just want to give you the heads ups, and that is around December 21st. And then February 1st, Jupiter will go direct in Gemini, and we'll revisit all that stuff in Gemini, the newscasters, the gossip, the media, fast communication, having too much information at once. All that is because Jupiter is in Gemini. But moving forward with new insights, there's momentum, there's clarity, there's reflections, there's intellectual expansion, there's great wisdom, lessons learned, and great opportunities for new ideas too. Okay.